When was the last time you walked into a place, saw how many people were inside, and quietly turned around? How often do you say, "I'll try to make it," when you already know you probably won't go, just because you heard the words big group? Do you ever find yourself at an event, smiling, nodding, making small talk, while a very different part of you is standing in the corner of your own mind, already planning your exit? And have you ever wondered, in a way that almost feels uncomfortable to admit, what's wrong with me? Why does everyone else seem okay with this, and I'm counting the minutes? The way you handle crowds isn't random. Your patterns around people, noise, and closeness are not quirks pulled out of a hat. They're the visible surface of something very specific your brain has been doing for a long time. You might not have had the words for it. You might have just called yourself awkward or antisocial or something even harsher. But there's a different story underneath. Notice how you move through the world. You walk into a busy room and you don't just walk in, you scan. You automatically register exits, empty corners, who's loud, who's already looking at you. You might gravitate to the edges of the room, the wall, the back row, the seat with nobody directly behind you. On the outside, it just looks like a seating preference. Inside, it's a positioning of safety. Your body is trying to create a small bubble of control in a place where everything feels unpredictable. This usually points to a nervous system that learned, earlier than it should have had to, that too many people can mean too many variables. Maybe you're the person who insists on taking my own car. Everyone else wants to ride together, make it a whole thing, and you're already calculating the cost of being stuck when your energy runs out. I'll just meet you there, you say. On paper, it's about logistics. Emotionally, it's about escape routes. Your brain learned that it's easier to enter a crowd when you know you can leave it the moment your inner alarm rings. That's not because you're dramatic. It's because some deeper part of you refuses to be trapped again in situations where your discomfort doesn't matter. You might notice there's a version of you that only shows up in groups. The crowd version. The one who laughs a little louder than you feel, nods at things you don't fully agree with, tells small surface-level stories instead of the real ones. It's almost like putting on a soft mask. You've probably gotten very good at it. You know how to appear fine enough that no one asks questions. That mask isn't fake. It's protective. It's a way of keeping your real thoughts, your real reactions, at a distance from people who haven't earned them yet. Your mind is quietly sorting who gets access, who gets the real version, who is safe enough to see behind this. And in a crowd, the answer is usually no one. Think about how you feel when plans switch from a few people to everyone's coming. There's a moment where your stomach drops a little. The same event, same place, but suddenly your whole internal math changes. Now you're replaying every conversation you'll have to have, every face you'll have to make, every noise overlapping with every other noise. Most people would just say, "You don't like crowds," but that's just the name for a much more detailed process. Your brain is doing cost-benefit analysis on your energy. It's forecasting overstimulation, emotional performance, the risk of being pulled into drama, the awkwardness of standing alone in the middle of a cluster of people. The part of you that feels this so strongly is not fragile, it's perceptive. You pick up on things most people flatten out. You walk through a mall or a busy street, and it's not just people, it's micro-expressions, tense shoulders, forced laughs, restless eyes, groups splitting and merging, couples whispering, someone on the verge of tears pretending they're not. You register tone, posture, speed of movement. Multiply that by dozens or hundreds, and your system gets flooded. Other people might feel vibes, you feel data. Over time, that kind of sensitivity teaches you, stay small, stay at the edge, stay where you can breathe. For a lot of people who avoid crowds, this way of moving through the world traces back to environments where the mood could change quickly. Homes where you had to pay close attention to the atmosphere to stay safe. Rooms where raised voices, sudden laughter, or a door closing too hard meant something was about to happen. Your body remembers that. So now, a loud bar, a family gathering, a packed concert, your mind knows it's technically different, but your nervous system doesn't fully believe it. Too many voices at once still translates to, I can't track what's coming next. This is why you might seem calm on the outside and exhausted afterward, even if nothing happened. People might say, but you didn't do anything, you were just standing there. They don't see the internal work, the constant scanning, the self-monitoring, the quiet negotiation of, is it safe to be myself here, or do I need to keep that version folded up for later? There's another layer too. You might have noticed you're at your best one-on-one or in very small groups where there's room to go deep. In a crowd, conversations spread out across the surface like a thin layer of water. Quick jokes, little updates, comments about weather, work, whatever. You can do it, you know the script, but a part of you feels strangely more alone in those moments than when you're actually alone. That ache, the loneliness inside a room full of people, usually belongs to someone who isn't hungry for more people, but for more realness. You don't want 10 shallow connections, you want 1 or 2 that feel like home. So your discomfort in crowds isn't just about noise, it's about dilution. You can feel your own presence thinning out, becoming just another person in the room, and that goes against something in you that quietly insists, if I'm going to be here, I want to actually be here. There's a reason you replay things you said in a group long after you get home. The way you suddenly hear your own voice in your head saying that one sentence, was it weird? Was it too much? Was it not enough? That's not because you're broken. It points to someone who cares deeply about alignment, about your inner world matching your outer behavior. In a crowd, that alignment is harder to maintain. There are too many micro pressures. Smile now, laugh, don't be too quiet, don't be too intense, fit the mood. So you often choose to conserve yourself instead. Maybe you're the one who always bails or never comes out. People might tease you about it, but they don't see the part leading up to that no, the days or hours of back and forth in your head. I kinda want to go, it might be nice, but I know how drained I'll be. I know how long it'll take to come back to myself. That inner wrestling usually belongs to someone who stopped lying to themselves about their own limits. You might not call it that, but that's what it is, an honesty with your own capacity. And that's rarer than it sounds. Notice the small rituals you do around people. Sitting with your back to the wall, choosing the aisle seat in the theater so you're not stuck, checking how loud a place is before you agree to meet there, arriving a bit early so you can acclimate before everyone shows up, or arriving a bit late so you can slip in when the attention is no longer at the door. Each one of those micro choices is a form of self-protection your brain built. Your younger self probably went through enough situations where you felt overwhelmed, trapped, or unnoticed while overwhelmed that your mind quietly decided, we're not doing that anymore without a plan. That doesn't make you less social, it makes you more negotiated with yourself. There's also something interesting about the kind of fear that gets stirred in you. It's not always fear of people, it's often fear of being swallowed. Fear of losing track of yourself in the noise. Fear of having your boundaries softened by group momentum, agreeing to things you don't really want, laughing at things you don't actually find funny, going along with plans that leave you feeling hollow. Crowds make that easier to happen, and your system knows it. So when your body tenses at the thought of a festival, a packed wedding, a huge party, your mind is not only saying this is too many people, it's whispering, this is too many chances for me to disappear into something I don't believe in. People who avoid crowds almost always share one thing, even if they've never said it out loud, a fiercely loyal loyalty to their inner world. Even if you doubt yourself, even if you criticize yourself, you still feel that pull. I don't want to betray how I actually feel, even if that makes me the weird one. That's what makes you rare.
Because merging with a crowd is easy. You just stop noticing yourself as much. You let the group decide what's funny, what's exciting, what's interesting, what's acceptable. You let the loudest person decide the mood. But your brain doesn't fully let go like that. Even when you're in it, a part of you is slightly outside, observing, do I actually agree with this? Do I want to be doing this? Do I feel like myself right now? That observer in you is one of the reasons you come home so tired. You've been living two experiences at once, participating and monitoring. And that observer, as exhausting as it can be, is also a kind of guardian. It protects you from disappearing. Think about how you are with the few people you actually trust. Notice how different your energy is in a quiet room with someone who really sees you. Time moves differently. You're not scripting
your sentences in advance. You're not watching your own face as you speak. The same person who hates crowds can talk for hours with one human being who feels safe. That contrast reveals something important. It's not that you don't like people, it's that you're selective about where you allow your nervous system to relax. Your avoidance isn't a rejection of humanity, it's a filter for where your depth is allowed to show up. You've probably also noticed how certain environments are strangely okay. A small late-night diner with a low hum of conversation might feel comforting. But a bright, packed brunch spot feels like chaos. A quiet bookstore where there are many people but everyone is in their own bubble is fine. But a group circle where everyone is going around and sharing their name and one fun fact makes your skin crawl. This difference matters. Your discomfort is not about number of bodies in a space. It's about the demand for your attention, your performance, your openness. Your brain tracks that instinctively. Am I allowed to exist quietly here, or is there an expectation that I join, reveal, entertain, and constantly respond? If it's the second one, your whole system starts planning its escape even before you step foot inside. Some of the things you think are your flaws, not liking concerts, dreading busy family gatherings, feeling wiped out after a shopping trip, often trace back to a nervous system that never really got the luxury of feeling unobserved, unneeded, and truly off-duty. So now, in any group, your body assumes it has to be on. No wonder you long for empty spaces. There's a subtle fear underneath all this that doesn't get talked about much. The fear of being seen by many, but known by none. Standing in a crowd, surrounded by faces, while the deepest parts of you stay completely untouched. That kind of invisibility can hurt more than being physically alone. So instead of putting yourself in that position over and over, something in you quietly retreats. You'd rather be by yourself and real than with everyone and edited. That's not a defect. That's self-respect, expressed in a language that looks like avoidance. There's also this. You notice things about other people that most never voice. You catch the person in the corner who looks uncomfortable, and a part of you mirrors it. You can sense when the laughter in a group is a little too sharp, when someone's joke is actually a disguised attack, when the tension under the fun is real. Being in a crowd for you isn't just being around a lot of people, it's holding a lot of unspoken emotional information at once. Your brain, in its own way, is saying, if I'm going to carry all of that, I need to be careful how often I do it. Underneath all these habits, there's a portrait forming. Someone who is more sensitive than they let on, but also stronger than they realize. Someone who values depth over display, control over chaos, authenticity over easy belonging.
Someone who would rather disappoint a group than betray themselves, even though that choice still hurts. Someone whose mind is wired to protect their inner world, even when the outer world calls it overthinking or being antisocial. The hidden psychology of you, the person who avoids crowds, isn't about weakness. It's about precision. You are precise about where your energy goes. Precise about who gets to see you unmasked. Precise about the kinds of environments where you can actually breathe. That precision might have started as survival, but over time, it has also become part of your identity. You are the one who notices. The one who doesn't get fully swept up. The one who, even in the loudest room, still hears their own quiet voice saying, "Is this right for me?" And beneath every canceled plan, every "I think I'll skip it," every early exit from another gathering, there is a person who is not running from the world, but turning toward themselves. Not everyone does that. Not everyone can. That's the rare part. When you strip away the habits, the avoiding, the leaving early, the needing your own car, the careful choosing of seats, what's left is someone with a fiercely guarded inner life. Someone who doesn't want to lose themselves in the noise because they finally understand how much there is inside them to protect. Not everyone will see that when they watch you slip quietly out of a crowded room, but you can. You know now that beneath the way you move, beneath the way you scan, beneath the way you avoid or endure crowds, there is a person whose sensitivity is not a problem to fix, but a truth you've been honoring longer than you realized.